Our next guest says that investors must deprogram and embrace a new way of thinking in order to capitalize on the market. What does he mean by that? Well, let's ask Jeffrey Sica. He's president of Sica Wealth Management, nearly $1 billion in assets under management. Jeffrey, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Blissful buy and hold theories were thrown out the window when we saw that over the past 10 years, guess what? Not only were you pretty much dead even with where you started, but in some cases a bit lower, like the S&P. So why are you saying you've got to throw out that belief? Because it doesn't work anymore?
Well, right now, especially since most people who own mutual funds, blue chip mutual funds for 10 years, haven't seen positive returns.
Right.
So now they're looking at their mutual funds, they're looking at their stock positions in a very vulnerable economy, and they're saying, as a result of this, we have to begin to think that perhaps we should start thinking that this market doesn't have the legs to do what it's done throughout history, is rebound. But
you can still make money, can you not?
You could still make money, and one of the reasons to look at ETFs is the whole concept of making money in a declining market in inverse ETFs.
Inverse ETFs. Explain as we put a list up here. And folks, this is a way that Jeffrey says you can actually hedge. It's not shorting, is it?
No, definitely not shorting, because with shorting, you're specifically taking a margin position, which puts you in significant risk for margin calls and things like that.
But you can actually do inverse ETFs for a lot of things, like the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P, of course, in forms of things like ProShares, DOG, SH for S&P. But also other areas. People are so hot, for example, and we'll go through all of these that you're talking about here. They're so hot about things like Brazil. Oh, the Olympics are coming. Everybody's so great. But if you are a person out there who believes that's maybe overdone, you can take a position against the Bovespa, the Brazilian market?
Yeah, you could look at the Bovespa, look at the Nikkei, look at a number of different markets that you sense vulnerability. And by sensing vulnerability in these markets, you could use the inverse ETFs to capitalize. Well, you just start standard exchange-traded funds. You could buy them through just about any broker, discounter, full-service broker. And the best strategy is to look at your percentage of exposure in specific indexes and use them specifically to reduce or hedge the exposure you have in those indexes.
There's one called the F as in Frank XP, the Xinhua China 25. That's what it's shorting. People think China's very hot, but you're saying if there is the belief out there that there will be a meaningful slowdown over the next couple of months or even a year or two, you buy into these ProShares, and in a way, when that market falls, you get the inverse payment. You get money when that market falls?
Right, and there's also the concept of not only getting money when that market falls, but looking at the possibility of having exposure in that sector already and reducing the exposure by using an inverse ETF. So it's looking at the market in reverse. So you look at the market as being vulnerable as it is now,
which it is,
and using a strategy that capitalizes on that.
Jeff Sica is with us the whole hour. We'll be talking to you more about where you see vulnerabilities.